Now, Libya has pretty much dominated many of my podcasts, in fact, all of them since I started doing them at the beginning of this year. The situation in Libya continues to persist. It seems that Libya is on the verge of a split because, as we know, we have renegade commander Khalifa Haftar, who has been leading the LNA forces in the eastern side of Libya. The LNA forces being the forces of the eastern government of Libya, which is supported by not only many Libyans, but also supported from the outside by Russia, by France, by Egypt, by Saudi Arabia, and particularly by the United Arab Emirates. On the other side, we have the UN recognized government, the GNA government, in the capital Tripoli, which has been besieged for over a year now, but it has received the support of many people within Tripoli, as well as Turkey, Qatar, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, so on and so forth. With now Khalifa Haftar having unilaterally declared himself as the official legitimate leader of Libya, it seemed that really the government in Tripoli was on the back foot, as Khalifa Haftar seemed to enjoy a lot more international support and also controlled most of the Libyan landmass. However, since Khalifa Haftar made that announcement, the GNA has followed through with its promise to launch a counterattack, and it has done so successfully. It has taken back some coastline west of the capital Tripoli, and it is also launching an assault on the Watiya airport, which is in the south of Tripoli, and that is the second biggest airport of Libya, after the Mytika airport, which is north of Tripoli, again under the control of the GNA, despite coming under heavy attacks by the forces of Khalifa Haftar, and with the support of Turkish troops in Tripoli, the GNA has been able to preserve its control over that airport. So Khalifa Haftar is falling short really of complete control of the country, without control of the capital city and without control of the two main airports of the country. Ironically, a couple of days after he declared himself leader, having experienced these losses on the west coast of Tripoli and in the Watiya airport, Khalifa Haftar, having previously declared the ceasefire process null and void, suddenly comes out and declares a new ceasefire, unilaterally declares a new ceasefire. However, the GNA government of Tripoli has rejected this ceasefire, saying that saying that Khalifa Haftar is just trying to buy time, he's just playing the game, because when he had the advantage, he was rejecting ceasefire calls, yet now that he's on the back foot, having experienced losses, he suddenly decides to call a ceasefire. So the GNA is being resurgent, is proving itself capable to push back Haftar's forces and to gain ground in the Libyan civil conflict. And it is likely that the GNA now will push southwards, actually, south of Tripoli, towards the desert, towards the unpopulated parts of Tripoli. And then from there they may start moving eastwards and try to besiege cities like Benghazi, which is a stronghold of the LNA government, which is a stronghold of Khalifa Haftar, and this will have a psychological effect really on the forces of Khalifa Haftar, because being that the south of Libya is mainly desert, you're unlikely to get any kind of resistance when you are conducting military operations in that region. It's very easy to take over a huge swathe of land by conducting such an operation, and it will change the colors on the map that show who controls what in Libya, and suddenly it will be shown that the GNA government will control the majority of the country, and that may help them secure more international support, while the LNA will appear to be a minority force, a minority entity, hold up in just one or two cities in Libya's east. So I believe that's where the conflict is going to be going in the coming days, weeks, and months.